Mayday, mayday, mayday. This is Blackjack, mayday, Blackjack. 1 mile east of Cat Reef, sinking fast, 5 persons on board, EPIRB activated, 20 metre cap, white hull and superstructure, launching life.
Taking on water or an onboard fire are situations where you may have to abandon ship. You are then reliant on your life raft for shelter. A life raft is designed to withstand extreme conditions and provide shelter in an emergency, and it will contain equipment to support your safety and survival. This common style of life raft is built around inflatable tubes and a canopy that provides shelter from wind, water and sun. The raft is inflated from a gas cylinder with a mechanism that is activated by tension on the painter. The canopy flap can be secured to provide greatest protection from the elements, and this observation port allows for a lookout watch with minimal exposure. The canopy is highly visible in a safety colour with retro-reflective tape to increase visibility at night. There may also be a safety light on top. These weighted pockets beneath the floor will fill with water. They help to prevent the raft from overturning. These are not aids to righting the raft. You must use the righting lines designed for that purpose. Inside the raft are built-in arm loops and boarding lines. Safety and survival equipment is packed into bags. These are stored into the raft to avoid loss if the raft overturns. The raft is carefully packed into a weatherproof hard case or soft pack. Most commercial vessel life rafts will be packed into a hard case. The case is secured with special tapes that must not be cut or damaged in any way. Do not use any other material to close the case, otherwise you risk it not opening properly to release the raft. Most of the painter is tucked inside the case. The tail runs through a sealed gap and is then secured to the vessel. Avoid unnecessary pulling on the painter to avoid unintended inflation of the raft. As well as inflating the raft, the painter will secure it alongside the vessel or can be used to tie 2 rafts alongside each other. Life rafts have different carrying capacities, and it is essential that your raft matches the carrying capacity of your vessel. Your life raft must be stowed in a location that allows for quick and easy launching, and it must be secured correctly. Many rafts sit in a cradle or shock secured by strap or lashing, with a quick release and hydrostatic release. Never padlock your life raft down. If you do so in dock, you must remove the lock before you proceed to sea. You can easily release the lashings manually, or if the vessel sinks too quickly for you to do that, the hydrostatic release will automatically release the raft. It is important that you know how the life raft on your vessel is secured and deployed. Arrangements will vary depending on the size of the raft and design of your vessel. It is essential that you check the hydrostatic release is correctly installed. Failure to do so may make it difficult to free your life raft from the vessel in a highly stressful emergency situation. Don't forget to read the manufacturer's instructions carefully and look at the markings on the release to help you install it correctly. By law, a life raft must be serviced annually by an approved service centre. Here you see the service dates clearly marked on the life raft case. During the annual inspection, the integrity of the raft and tubes will be checked, the contents checked and replaced as needed, the cylinder and its contents and inflation mechanism will also be checked and then repacked. Let's now take a close look at the equipment you'll find in your life raft, such as survival and signalling equipment and ration packs for the immediate survival for the number of people it is certified to carry. The sea anchor or drogue reduces the speed of the drift of the life raft, prevents it from spinning and keeps it steady in the wind. Paddles provide the means for basic positioning and propulsion, enabling you to reach survivors, recover floating gear, or to move two rafts together. A hand pump or bellows allows you to pump up the buoyancy tubes as they lose air. A rescue quoit is either thrown to a survivor in the water or used by a rescuer swimming to a survivor. In both cases, the line must be secured to the life raft so that the person or persons can be pulled back on board. The torch is used to attract attention and should not be used routinely for light. Use the chemical light sticks instead. The repair kit contains rubber patches of different sizes, rubber adhesive and leak stoppers. Signalling equipment includes a heliograph for reflecting light and pyrotechnics. There is also an EPIRB in the raft. There will be a sponge for soaking up drinking water and a baler for removing water from the raft, as well as a fishing line and hooks, and most importantly, seasickness tablets. Seasickness is unpleasant, reduces morale and increases dehydration. Everyone on board should take a tablet as a precaution. There are also water and food packs. The food rations provide maximum energy while creating minimum thirst. Food is not as important as water in the short term, so the life raft rations may be something like barley sugar or special biscuits. Water is packed so that it is easy to ration and distribute. Now that you're familiar with your life raft and its contents, let's look at the procedures for abandoning ship and deploying the raft. In a situation where you have to abandon your vessel, you should have sent a Mayday radio message, alerting other vessels and rescue coordination centres of your situation. If you have sufficient time, put on extra clothing, drink plenty of water, and grab additional water, flares, food and blankets if available. You may already have a grab bag set up for this purpose. Make the vessel as watertight as possible by closing hatches and doors. Put on your life jacket before you go to your abandoned ship position. You should never leave your vessel without wearing a life jacket, even if you intend to enter the life raft directly from the vessel. To put the life jacket on, put it over your head, put your arms through the upper tape loops, cross the tails of the tapes behind your back, and then tie them off securely in front of the jacket. Now you're ready to launch the life raft. Here we assume the vessel is not sinking rapidly and that you're able to manually launch the raft. First, check that the painter is made fast to the weak link on the hydrostatic release and release the raft from its cradle. Check that all is clear over the side, including people or debris that could damage the raft. Then throw the life raft overboard, making sure it lands clear of the vessel and anything in the water. Pull the painter until you reach its limit and give it a hard tug to activate the inflation mechanism. The raft should inflate in 20 to 30 seconds, and as it does, it will burst open the tapes that secure the case. The cylinder contains more gas than needed, and you might hear hissing as the overpressure relief valve vents the excess. It is possible that the life raft will inflate upside down. If it can't be righted from the vessel, a crew member wearing a life jacket will have to do it from the water. Do this as soon as possible, because if water fills the canopy, it will be much heavier and more difficult to right. Grab the righting strap and put your feet on top of the cylinder. Use your weight to heave the raft upright. If safe to do so, you can pull the life raft alongside for boarding. It's preferable to board it directly from the vessel. Wherever possible, you should avoid entering the water. Board the raft by climbing or jumping carefully from the vessel. If you have to jump into the water to board the raft, do so from the lowest point of the vessel. Keep your elbows tucked in, cover your nose and mouth with one hand, and hold the front of your life jacket down and close to your chest. Enter the water upright and with your legs straight and together. Never dive in head first. To enter the raft, place your feet onto the ladder and grab the boarding tapes as far inboard as possible. If you have to assist others into the raft, Use the life jacket's buoyancy to assist the entry by pushing down to create a rebound effect that helps to lift the person into the raft. If you have to rescue survivors, use the rescue quoit and line. You may be able to throw the quoit to them. To avoid losing hold of the quoit, the survivor should wear it as high as possible on one arm. Set the sea anchor to prevent the life raft from drifting too far from the abandoned boat position. Activate the EPIRB, check the equipment in the life raft, and inspect for and attend to leaks and damage. Attend to any sick or injured people and issue anti-sickness tablets if you have not already done so. Pay particular attention to people who are wet. They are at risk of hypothermia. Do what you can to keep them out of the wind, get dry if possible, and huddle for warmth. In rough conditions, hook your arms into the loops so that you're not thrown around inside the raft. Your life raft will contain waterproof survival information and a distress signal card. Read them. Think too about how you can maintain morale. Keep people positive and active. In the first 24 hours, don't drink any water. Exceptions can be made for injured or sick survivors. Collect whatever water you can. Collect rainwater through the catchment tube in the canopy and fill every container possible. You can collect condensation from inside the canopy by using the sponge. You should drink the water you've collected before the packaged water. Never drink salt water. It will increase thirst and dehydration. You should be ready to signal to aircraft or vessels at all times. Only use your rockets if you are certain rescue craft are nearby or just beyond the horizon. Use your flares, smoke signals or heliograph when rescuers are within sight. If you are well prepared and familiar with emergency procedures, you give yourself the best chance of surviving if you have to abandon your vessel. Ensure your life raft is set up correctly. Check it regularly. Make sure all crew are familiar with the emergency procedures and safety equipment on your vessel.